In this video I am going to cover the basic volume profile shapes. The thing with volume profile is that it creates the same shapes over and over again. There are 4 basic types of shapes the volume profile does, and with those shapes the volume profile tells us how the volumes are being distributed and how the big financial institutions operate on the markets. As it's usual for volume profile, it doesn't really matter which time frame you use or which trading instrument you use. The shapes that I'm going to cover in this video will still be the same. There are 4 basic shapes that repeat over and over again. Alright, so let's get to it. Before we get in the volume profile shapes, let me show you one very important thing. Probably the most important thing in any volume profile histogram, and the thing is point of control, or POC. The POC is the place where the volume profile is the thickest, and this means that the most volumes got accumulated there. So if you look at this volume profile histogram, then you can see that is the thickest in here. And this price level is the point of control. This is the place where most of the volumes got accumulated throughout this whole area. And why point of control is that important? It's that important because it's a place where institutions were accumulating their positions the most. This is why it's that important. It's a significant reference point for all market participants. Every professional trader knows where, for example, the daily or the weekly point of control is. Every pro trader knows that. It's the most important place in any volume profile, no matter the shape. Alright, so it doesn't matter which of those 4 shapes I'm going to cover now the profile forms, the point of control is the most significant place in any of those profiles. So that's the point of control, most significant place in any volume profile. So let's now have a look at the volume profile shapes. The first, most basic one, and also the most frequent, is D-shaped profile. It's called D-shaped profile because it has the same shape as a letter D. So if you look at this picture, you can see that more or less the profile is a D-shaped. And what D-shaped profile means is that there is a temporary balance between buyers and sellers. Most of the time this means that the price is in a rotation. And in rotation, as we said before, heavy volumes get accumulated in rotation or in D-shaped profile. Alright, because there is a lot of time for big institutions to accumulate their volumes. In D-shaped profiles, what usually happens is that institutions are entering their positions and they are getting ready for a big move, for a trend move. Alright? But the most important thing you need to remember is this. D-shaped profile means balance. Alright? Balance between buyers and sellers. So let me show you one more picture, one more example of the D-shaped profile. As you can see, the profile is also D-shaped in here. This is the point of control. By the way, you can see that from the point of control, a trend starts. So in this case, institutions were accumulating their positions in here. Afterwards, they initiated strong buying activity. They initiated a trend. Alright, so that's for the D-shaped profile, which is a sign of balanced market. It's a sign that institutions are accumulating their positions. The next volume profile shape is a P-shaped profile. It's called P-shaped because it looks like a letter P, right? Letter P. And when you see a P-shaped profile, the most important thing is that such profile is a sign of strong buyers. So whenever you see a profile like this, you know that this is a sign of strong buyers. What happens is that buyers are pushing price upwards, as in this picture, right here, and they are creating new price balance on higher prices, which means that the price is rotating in here, the higher prices, all right? So the institutions push the price upwards, and then there's a rotation. This is how the P-shaped profile gets formed. Most often, you'll see the P-shaped profiles within an uptrend. As I said, it's a sign of strong buyers. So when there's an uptrend, you will basically see this. You will see P-shaped profile followed by P-shaped profile, followed by P-shaped profile, followed by another P-shaped profile. The price will look somehow like this. All right, this is how uptrend looks like. P-shaped profiles, and price goes upwards. Another way how the P-shaped profile can help you is that it is a sign of end of a downtrend. So imagine there was a downtrend in here, and now the price formed P-shaped profile, which is a sign of strong buyers. And for that reason, a P-shaped profile after a downtrend could mean the end of the downtrend, or at least a temporary end. So when there is a downtrend, then there is a P-shaped profile, then the price is likely to start rotating, or it could reverse and go upwards, creating new P-shaped profiles. All right, one more picture of the P-shaped profile. As you can see, buyers are pushing price upwards, and then there is a rotation. New balance is formed in here. All right, so this is another P-shaped profile, a sign of strong buyers. The next shape is a B-shaped profile, and it is the exact opposite of the P-shaped profile. So if you look at this picture, you can see that it looks like letter B. That's why it's called B-shaped profile. And the most important thing about it is that it is a sign of strong sellers. Sellers pushing price downwards and creating new price balance on lower prices. They are creating new price balance in here. And B profiles usually form within a downtrend. So when you see a downtrend, the profiles within the downtrend usually look like this. And this is, for example, the price action. All right. So this is how downtrend looks like. B-shaped profile followed by another B-shaped profile, followed by another B-shaped profile, and so on. Strong sellers pushing the price downwards. When there is a B-shaped profile after an uptrend, then it means that the uptrend is over or could be over, and there's a temporary end of the uptrend or a change of a trend. So imagine there was a strong uptrend, and now something like this occurs. B-shaped profile, which is a sign of strong sellers who go against the buyers who are pushing the price upwards. So those sellers prevent those buyers to push the price even higher, and if those sellers are strong enough, they start a new trend. If not, then there's likely to be a rotation. But it's not very likely to see a B-shaped profile after an uptrend and nothing happens, the uptrend continues. This is not very common. All right, so when there is an uptrend and a B-shaped profile, there's likely to be a rotation or change of a trend. Here's another example of the B-shaped profile. It's pretty easy to spot. All right, letter B, more or less. The last one of those volume profile basic shapes is the thin profile. When you see a thin profile, then there is a trend. This is the most important thing to remember. Thin profile equals trend. One side of the market is very aggressive, as in this picture, and it's pushing the price upwards. There's not much time to accumulate volumes. And for that reason, the volumes are not heavy within a trend. It doesn't matter if it's uptrend or a downtrend. When the price is moving aggressively, there's little time to accumulate volumes, little time to enter positions. And for that reason, the volume profile is thin, alright? And the most important places within thin profiles are volume clusters within the thin volume profile. So in this case, it would be probably those volume clusters, most significant places within this thin area. Also this one. We will talk about those volume clusters later when I'll be talking about volume profile strategies. I just wanted to tell you that those volume clusters are interesting places within thin profile. Alright, so that's the thin profile. One more example of the thin profile. Those are daily profiles, and this one is a thin profile. You can compare it to other profiles. This is sort of B-shaped profile, then it's followed by a thin profile, then this is a P-shaped profile, sign of end of a trend, alright? And this is a B-shaped profile. So this is how the thin profile looks like in the context of other profiles. You can see that if you compare the heavy volume areas, there simply aren't that heavy volumes in any given price level as in, for example, B-shaped profile or P-shaped profile. And this is because the price is moving rapidly and there's not much time to create new volumes to enter positions. Alright, so that's for the theory of the volume profile basic shapes, and the next video will be more practical. We'll jump into live charts and I'll show you how to read those charts using those 4 volume profile shapes.